Everyone wants to know, who is the strongest fictional character? A lot of people go to Goku, Superman. Then One Punch Man came out. If I may introduce you to one character, one unlikely candidate from a show that everyone has grown up with. Yes, you read the title right. Welcome, Mr. Moseby. Commonly known for being in the show Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and The Sweet Life on Deck. I know quite a few things about this show. I've grown up with the show, probably like many of you. And over quarantine I rewatched the show and thought, should I make this an April Fool's video? And then guess what? I waited a year and realized now it's time to do it. But as I rewatched the show, I realized this isn't no April Fool's. This is not a joke. Moseby is genuinely OP for the fact that he's a sitcom character. And I'm going to break down this into 4 categories: strength, durability, speed, and hacks. So Mr. Moseby isn't really a character like you see in Dragon Ball Z where they have tons of planetary level feats, but the thing is, I like to think that knowledge is power, and he does have some very good strength feats as it is, so we're going to be covering all of that. Now Mr. Moseby, he has sort of an aura to himself. He has a mystique, authoritative power that he exudes whenever he walks into the hotel. And in episode 4, Mr. Moseby comes back to the Tipton. The hotel is under wraps, it's out of control. He easily tells the dogs to halt. Dogs! Halt! And they get to all fours. Not just the dog, but Maddie herself. In the same episode, he's also shown to be fluent in Japanese, French, Spanish, and Swahili, if I said that right. And for most people, it's hard to learn 2 languages, but Mr. Moseby knows not 1, not 2, but 5 different languages. He's also a musical genius, seen to be doing a bunch of acrobatics that most humans cannot perform. But there's a huge feat, a huge quote by Maddie where she says,
I promise Mr. Moseby, Sister Dominic, and God, I'd look after you. And frankly, I'm not sure which one I'm most scared of.
Now we're going to move on to the durability part. Mr. Moseby, he can take a beating. His strength might not be that apparent, but his durability is literally insane. Just in the first episode, we see Esteban fall on top of him, and Moseby doesn't even bat an eye. He gets up immediately and says, I want the twins gone. If he has a large man fall on him, he'll protect the vase. He'll protect anything that is cherished by Mr. Tipton, which speaks volumes to his character. Thing is, Mr. Moseby doesn't understand human boundaries. He's presented to be just a human, but when it comes to the Tipton, protecting the Tipton, he knows no boundaries. I think his most impressive feat comes on Sweet Life on Deck. The kids, they play a senior prank on Mr. Moseby, lifts him up in the air, up style, with all these balloons. He's sitting stories above the boat while it's thundering, gets struck by lightning, and guess what? He survives the lightning strike and cancels prom. Motherfucking Goku almost died from a fucking heart disease. I want you to think about that. The Ultra Instinct God, or whatever you want to call him, the being that breaks all limits, almost died to a mere heart attack in the Cell Saga. Just keep that in mind. And now on to Moseby's speed. Moseby, his speed is insane too, considering everything he dodges with precise aim. Like, I think this man literally preceded Ultra Instinct. I mean, Drip Goku got nothing. As you can see, he's dodging pies, dodging the twins, dodging vases, pre-instinctively, dodging attacks like it's nothing. Like, this man is literally a grand priest or an angel, whatever you may be. Now, I want you to think about this. His biggest speed feat comes from a 2-part scenario. Episode 4, we see that Mr. Moseby loses his job, and he's in his apartment. We can confirm with this that he does not live at the Tipton Hotel. Flash forward to season 3. Mr. Moseby gets word that the hotel is going to shit, and the second the hotel manager hangs up the phone, Carrie says this can take, and before she finishes the sentence, Mr. Moseby speed walks by, and she says, seconds, as if she was surprised.
What'd he say?
Moseby said he'd be here as soon as possible.
Oh, but that could take...
I'm here!
...seconds.
And Moseby proceeds to say he would have gotten there sooner if there wasn't traffic. And he wasn't even running. He was power walking, but he gets there in mere seconds. If it was a 10-minute drive, that's approximately 8 miles. And he got here around 20 seconds in the conversation. So theoretically, he walked 8 miles in 20 seconds. If you times that in the hour, his average pace would be 1,440 miles per hour. So take all that to consider. Now for the crazy part. The part you've all been waiting for. The hacks ability that Mr. Moseby has. Every power scaler looks for the hacks abilities of their opponent. Mr. Moseby may be thinking, oh, he's pretty wealthy, probably has a bank like Bruce Wayne. But no, there is one blemish in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody continuity that makes Mr. Moseby legit one of the most overpowered characters in fiction, the Manager. To understand the Manager, you have to understand Season 4, Episode 4. The episode where Zack and Cody wish to get superpowers, and with every hero, they need a villain. But Mr. Moseby gets insane with this. He gains laser eyes, a freeze ray, mind control manipulation. But this mind control manipulation is quite similar to Kodo Amasukami, the genjutsu used by Shisui Uchiha. The thing that makes this genjutsu overpowered is the fact that the recipient doesn't even know they're under genjutsu or hypnosis. So Mr. Moseby is seen using this against London. He uses it against Carrie Martin to make sure she doesn't get a raise, which is hilarious. But his most overpowered ability is when he turns Zack and Cody's friend from a mere kid into an adult that works a 9-to-5 job. The implications for this are big because, one, any character who's a kid that you want to scale to, like OG Ben 10, Naruto, Kid Goku, or whatever, or even Goku now, because Vegeta does claim that Goku has the mind of a child. This ability becomes even more powerful when throughout the episode the rays are used against Mr. Moseby, and Zack implies if it turns kids into adults, I want to know what it turns adults into. And the Manager is seen to be a baby now. And this literally breaks power scaling, because that means he could use this on Goku and turn him into a mere infant. And yes, technically, Mr. Moseby could have been used in Endgame. There were rumors and memes that Phil Lewis was spotted on Endgame. And you know what? If he was, this would have been insane because War Machine does state, why don't you just go back in time to when Thanos was a baby and you know that. Moseby could do that. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This obviously was a parody of Seth the Programmer, so please check out his channel. Link will be down in the description below. But in the meantime, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Chaos Reborn. But until then, I'm your host, Chaos Reborn, and I hope you learned a thing or two about Mr. Moseby. Alright boys, as you can see, a lot of time has passed since the Moseby video was made and everything. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work finding an editor, shout out to Diego. It took a lot of research. It was painful to rewatch the show again, but we did it. And I was thinking, you know, I probably shouldn't do another video. But this year, we had an unlikely contestant in the form of the power of family.
Never see it come down.